You can do this. We'll do it together. Because there's some points where we were running up some of those things, and I was like, no way I can make this on my own. But there would be like some dude in the top going, come on, just do it. And like I would like run full sprint, and then you grab your arm and pull you to the other side. And then you like with that spirit, you would want to help someone else, right? Yeah. I'm not saying I did it all the time, but a few times I was like, all right, I'm going to try to help someone, and like I caught a couple of people and pulled them over the other side.
But that was equally rewarding as making the obstacle.
Is helping other people.
And I would get to the top, and then I would put my arm out, and I would help other people up.
I saw you. You were really gung-ho about helping other people. You were there for quite a while. I think I helped like one or two, and I'm like, I'm done. Okay, I did my good. I keep on going.
Yeah.
But
I get really into these things. I mean, when the guy was in the beginning doing the chant, yes, coach, yes, coach.
I wanted to talk about that, dude. He was a perfect character for that place. I mean, I think he was awesome because he's dressed in like that 80s kind of coach.
He had like
short
shorts.
But he was a big buff dude with sunglasses on,
handlebar mustache,
and he had like almost like a porn name, Mud Honey something, and he was just pumping you over like, all right guys, we're gonna have a good time, blah, blah, blah. So it was a great start to it, and I think the Spartan did something very similar to at the beginning where they were like had a DJ or something like that. I'm like, am I gonna run or am I dancing? I told you guys, I'm like, I don't know, this music's getting me in the wrong kind of atmosphere.
There's a group of people, we're all standing around and Rico's dancing around everybody. It was great.
Yeah, that's I was like, I'm waiting for the beat to drop, man.
In fact, as we were running, you did from
the Rude Sandstorm.
Yeah. Can you recreate that now?
Oh man. And people were like, the funny part is people are cracking up as we're running, and I'm doing that. And it's from a meme. It's from there, if you ever go, like, maybe we can tag it on there. Like, Connie sent me to me like Bane from Batman, talking about how the Rude Sandstorm's on his playlist for running playlist, and it's really funny. Like,
that's awesome.
I'll put it on there so you can see it. But it just reminded me of that as we were running.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we're in Miami. It's about 1:30, and the sun is up, and it's baking. Now, imagine this park. There's no mud at this point. There's no water. It is like the desert. And we're all sweating, dying. We're maybe like a quarter of a mile in. And all of a sudden we hear... and I don't know what it was, but it really got me pumped up. Yeah. Like,
I saw everybody around us. There was like a couple of runners around us. They're just looking back and just cracking up.
Right.
Because they're like, we're all struggling. We got sand in our face. And like, it was a sandstorm. That's why... I remember now. That's why I did it, because it was there was like sand being picked up and like in our eyes.
We're like, we're gonna be blowing this out our nose. And...
So yeah, that was rough at the beginning, like getting all that like dust in your face, and not as bad as the one in the Spartan race where we had to under the barbed wire.
Yeah.
That was, I think that's the toughest obstacle that I've ever had to do in those races. Is
explain what it was so that people know.
So. You said it was, I don't know how long. I mean, it was long.
It seemed to me, at least, it seemed like a half a football field.
Maybe
I'm making it up.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's what it felt. No, it felt like, a couple blocks. That we like maybe 2 blocks of just crawling under this barbed wire. And I guess it was supposed to be wet, but they didn't wet it. That's what the girl was saying.
Oh, okay.
So we're underneath the barbed wire. And there's little stones, and they're cutting you. I had like cuts all over my arms.
Oh yeah, I got cut up pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, I got messed up in the Spartan race. Like my hands were all burnt. So this is why this time I took those gloves that I didn't even use. They weren't necessary. But
we did climb
scared.
ropes, so maybe it would have burnt you.
Maybe, possibly, but. That time, I did the rope climb when you go up and ring the bell.
Right.
And I slipped, and my hands just went...
Yeah.
And just, I had no hand...
we watched it, and we were like, ooh.
Yeah. That was the rest of the race was just painful, because I was just, having like these burns on my hands.
At one point, I remember Spartan, we had to sit down, pull this rope that was also in like a 45-degree angle,
and
lift these heavy weights, and you had to get it all the way to the top. and you were like, my hands hurt way too much.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because So this time I came prepared. I had the gloves, but it felt like unnecessary. But I think it gave me a little extra grip though, and most of the stuff. So.
I think so. I who knows? Well, actually, keep those gloves because we are going to do another race.
Yes,
and we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll do some trivia, and we're going to talk about how you train for these races and talk about more stuff. So don't go anywhere.
Let's do it. Scotty and I are having a great time making this podcast.
And we want to continue.
So please go on our Facebook page and give us some feedback.
Help get the word out.
And keep listening.
Also, check out another great podcast, The Espresso Boys.
Yeah, Brandon and Caleb talk about different topics. They're great guys, very entertaining, and they're actually very, very funny to listen to. I've listened to a couple of their episodes, and when I've been at work and just made the time go fly by. So.
Yeah, the topics they pick are really good and very funny. You can find them on iTunes, Google, SoundCloud. So check them out.
Wherever you can find podcasts, pretty much, right?
Right.
Awesome.
All right. And we're back.
All right.
All right. So
I'm glad I'm alone on this.
I was about to say, it's a good thing there's nobody here today but you, because no matter what you do, you win.
That's what I like about this.
So here's the thing.
No more guests, because they mess me up.
I went through and I do my research to figure out the trivia questions, and we're doing fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So I went online and I found this one. It was all these facts about the youth in America and their use of how much TV watching that they do per day, right? And it said 7.5 hours of screen time.
Mm-hmm. So it's not only TV; it's pretty much computers,
phones,
iPads, and
anything with a screen.
Right.
So I wanted to know, where did they get this information? And I dug deeper, and I found the actual research. And I found the numbers that they were using.
Okay.
And then I wanted to know, how did they get those numbers? And they had this questionnaire. And I don't know about you, but I filled out questionnaires.
Yeah. Sometimes I hate questionnaires because it all depends on what mood you're in,
right,
and how honest you are about the questionnaire.
Yeah.
So.
Right. How many hours do you spend doing this? Well, what day is it? Because my schedule is not the same every day. But on this particular when they asked about the day before. What did you do that day? All right, well, there's some days where I could spend a whole day watching the show Legion, which you've maybe now addicted to. Other days
show.
I don't even turn the TV on.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, they're all from my perspective, a scientific perspective.
Yeah.
Like, to me, polls and all these interviews and, surveys and things like that.
Yeah.
You got to hold them to what they are. They're useful to an extent. You can't bet on them 100%.
Right. All right. So given that information, we're going to do some trivia.
All right. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Number 1. The American Heart Association's recommendation for adult physical activity is that adults should do how many minutes of a week of moderate exercise? Or is it? And I'll give you some choices.
I'm going to go with what I think.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
150 minutes.
Okay. Is it A, 40 minutes, B, 60 minutes, C, 90 minutes, D, 150 minutes, or E, American Heart Association to take a long walk off a short pier?
150 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Boom. You know how I know that?
Yeah, no.
I did the math because I know it's 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
So 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, and leaving out Saturday and Sunday. So 150 minutes.
Matthew is going to say that you read this
I know,
answer because here's what I wrote as far as like the follow-up. At least 30 minutes of moderate aerobic activity at least 5 days a week. 40 minutes of aerobic exercise of moderate to vigorous intensity 3 to 4 times a week will lower the risk of heart attack and stroke. Right.
I've taken many. Look at me. I've taken many classes.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
You're in good shape.
Thank you. But not really. But I've always known that 30 minutes a day. So I figured 5 times a week. So I was gonna go 7 times a week. But that was too much math. Yeah. And I don't buy the whole 30 minutes because
who has that kind of time?
You're right. No, not only that, but your 30 minutes of workout might be different than my 30 minutes of workout. They do specifically say moderate, right? Like when I do my runs,
it's more of a vigorous workout for me.
Right.
I'm pushing myself harder than what they're talking about.
Right.
So they're saying my workout should be 15 minutes.
Right.
So, like, they want you to do a brisk walk
Right.
for 30 minutes,
Right.
a bicycle that's decent.
See, the thing is, too, like, I've always heard that your first 20 minutes, and this might be completely wrong, but I've always heard, like, the first 20 minutes is to get your body kind of going, but then you're really not really burning as many calories or doing what you need to do until you reach that 20 minutes. So,
yeah,
in reality, you're only doing, like, 10 minutes of actual
I think
impact.
depends on who you ask,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. Yeah.
Because I've heard from Dr. Goldstein that calories in, calories out.
Right.
And that's more
I
important.
believe that. Yeah, I believe that 100%. That's whenever I want to get in shape, I take that 100% into account. Like what you're eating,
yeah,
and how much exercise you're doing. It's not. There's so many fad diets and like ways to get in shape and everything. But whatever's worked for me is like, if you're eating a certain amount, if you're working out a certain amount, there's no way you can't get in shape and lose weight if you balance those out, you know? And I had a teacher, I remember her, Miss Underhill, and that was my weight training in high school. She said that it's like, this is not a debate, this is like, if you do this is going to happen. And she was like, for me, she was 100% right in those. And if you work out, if you eat right, this is going to happen to your body. And everybody that followed that, had results,
I know. I had one semester when we were training for the Spartan. My professor told us that he used to do track and field, and then he coached.
Right.
So I asked him, "What do I do to train?" And he gave me a whole workout regimen. And I mean, I got really fit in a short amount of time.
Right.
And it wasn't unreasonable what he had me doing.
Right.
All right. Anyways, back to the trivia. Number 2.
So I destroyed the first question, so I thought
you already have won this competition. Number 2.
Take that, Matthew.
Did you get that right, Matthew? All right, I bet you he did too.
Yeah.
He gets a point.
Get it right.
You got it. All right. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, in 2017, the United States was the heaviest country in the world, with 38.2% of the country considered obese. Which of the following was the least obese country? Was it A, Hungary, B, Turkey, C, Chile, D, Japan, or E, the OECD should shut their fat faces?
Yes, the OECD should shut their fat faces. I'm going to go with Japan.
Yep, it was Japan with 3.7.
You know why I know it's Japan? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I have this Bluetooth scale that I bought. I got it with points. My work actually has a great benefit where if you work out, they give you points, and those points can turn into cash that you can buy stuff in their store. It's like Humana.
Okay.
So I bought a couple things from there because I run, so it tracks my run with my Apple Watch and the phone or whatever.
Right.
And I bought a scale. I bought like a couple of things that are like for working out and stuff like that. And so the scale is made in Japan, right? And it has an app on there, and it'll tell you if you're obese, if you're overweight, and everything. And their requirements are completely different than in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm over 5 pounds, what they say it says on there, you're overweight,
Really?
and I'm like, what? So I can tell their specifications.
Did you ever use the Wii Fit?
Yeah, I love.
Do you remember you would make your avatar, and then if it was overweight, it would look at like the scale and look at you and kind of get like disappointed.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was like, oh,
yeah, it would bend like, well, come on.
Yeah,
like,
there's a little bit of fat shaming from their from their equipment. So yeah, so that's how I know that. That's why I went with Japan. Because the scale fat shames me every time I get on there. So
also, I went with funny answers: Hungary, Turkey, Chile.
I saw you put Chile, but Chile is actually pretty overweight because we love bread.
Actually,
we love bread, and that's one of the hardest things.
So I told you that U.S. was 38.2. Then Hungary has got the 30%. Turkey is 22%, and Chile is 25%.
Oh, okay. Well, I listen. Chile, bread, lunch, dinner, breakfast. We eat bread, and it's so good. So every time I go to Chile, I come back with at least 10 pounds of extra.
Well, I saw the pictures from your last Chile trip, and you could sell me on the bread, but I was already going next time you go.
Yeah. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Next.
Number 3. Health.com surveyed the nation's 100 largest fast food chains.